So, if you've been following my channel for the past few weeks, we've recently reached 1,000 subscribers. I can't even begin to describe how happy this makes me. It has been the most amazing journey making videos for you guys, and it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for all you amazing people who've subscribed over the past few years. Now, I've been pondering over what to do for a 1,000 subscriber special. Some people do a face reveal, which... why would I do that? Some people do a name reveal or talk about their lives, which I'm saving for a later date. But after thinking about it a little, I'm going to give you guys a little taste of the games I like to play and list off my top 10 favorite video games of all time, at least at the time of me making this video. Putting together this list was a real pain in the ass, because there are so many games that I love dearly, but after replaying a bunch of them, I think I've come up with my definitive list as of right now. So, to celebrate 1,000 subscribers, here's my top 10 favorite video games of all time. Let's go. The very first game I have on this list is the very first game I ever played. It's nothing that amazing when you analyze it, but it's an important game to me and a lot of people. I'm talking about Wii Sports. This collection of 5 sports where you get to play as your own personal me just brings a feeling of joy that not many other games can replicate. These sports are all incredibly basic, and the training missions, while a neat idea, aren't that fleshed out. But that doesn't matter. Wii Sports is what all games should be at the end of the day. Fun. I remember playing this game for hours with my friends and family, with our personal favorite sport always being bowling. We also really liked tennis and baseball. Golf and boxing were always hit or miss, but whatever. Despite how bare bones this game really is, I love it nonetheless, and it's always a joy to pop in and play a few games regardless of who I'm playing it with. In case you haven't been on my channel for the past year or two, one of my favorite game franchises of all time is Five Nights at Freddy's. This series revolutionized what a horror game could be, and most of the games are pretty solid. You might think it would be hard for me to choose a favorite, but you'd be wrong, my friend. My favorite game in the FNAF series, without a doubt, is Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. In my opinion, this was the game that truly made FNAF scary again. A wonderfully crafted compilation of the first 3 games, as well as a huge collection of minigames taking place in the various locations seen throughout the series. These minigames are incredibly scary and incredibly fun, and that's even without the VR. With the VR, it becomes one of the most terrifying games of all time. Plus, the game also has the Curse of Dreadbear DLC, which adds even more characters and minigames. FNAF Help Wanted may not be that high on the list, but it's an excellent game, and the closest to perfection this series has gotten so far. Here's a fun fact about me. I love Star Wars. I've been watching Star Wars ever since I was a kid, from the movies to the TV shows and even the video games. This next game is one that you've probably played before, but if not, come on, you've seriously never played LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga? Despite definitely being a kid's game, The Complete Saga holds up surprisingly well. The first 6 Star Wars episodes in LEGO glory. You play through different levels that represent different chapters in the movies, and you can play these levels by yourself or with a friend. Most of these levels are really fun and have plenty of variety throughout. Also, in case you're wondering, my favorite episode both as a movie and in this game is episode 3, and on top of that, there's a crap ton of characters and vehicles, as well as a decent amount of side content. I know this is just nostalgia talking, but I still find this game to be as amazing and charming as when I first played it, and it deserves a spot on this list. Yeah, I think we all knew that a Mario Kart game would be appearing on this list at some point. Everybody loves Mario Kart, and if you don't, I don't think you're human. Picking a Mario Kart to put on this list was extremely difficult, because I was deciding between two games, Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It took a bit of thinking, but I think I have to go with Mario Kart Wii. This was the very first Mario Kart game, and the very first Mario game in general I ever played. I remember playing this game with my dad, how he would help me turn the steering wheel because I was too stupid to figure it out myself. Anyways, in my opinion, Mario Kart Wii still holds up as one of the best Mario Kart games. It has the best character roster for Funky Kong alone. It introduced bikes that made the gameplay even more intense, and the tracks are... oh, magnificent. Mushroom Gorge, Toad's Factory, Coconut Mall, DK Summit, Wario's Gold Mine, Koopa Cape, and Maple Treeway all have gone down in history as some of the greatest Mario Kart tracks of all time. This game also had a decent battle mode, and of course, the online was great. Mario Kart Wii may not be perfect, but I will never stop playing it. Some people may wonder why I picked Luigi to be my channel mascot, and that's because Luigi is, by far, my favorite video game character. He's infinitely better than Mario, and even though he doesn't have as many games as his older brother, most of the ones he does have are really fun and much more unique, including what is easily the best Luigi game of all time, Luigi's Mansion 3. This is actually the very first game I ever pre-ordered because I knew I was going to love it no matter what. Not only does this game look absolutely stunning with the HD graphics and animations, but it's truly the perfect blend of its two predecessors. It has amazing environments, with each floor representing a different theme. The additions to the gameplay, like the Slam, Burst, Suction Shot, and Luigi, are all awesome, and the Portrait Ghost boss fights are absolutely spectacular, with my favorite being the Shark Dude. There's also a bunch of collectibles like gems and booze, and the multiplayer modes Scare Scraper and Scream Park are really fun as well. I really wish Nintendo would make more games like this. You can tell how much effort went into Luigi's Mansion 3, and it earns a spot on this list. Despite how popular Mario games are, we can't forget that this Plumbers franchise actually started with a little arcade game called Donkey Kong. DK doesn't get enough attention, especially when a lot of his games are far superior to Mario's. Of course, I'm talking about the Donkey Kong Country games. These games are way more interesting than anything Mario has dished out, with the best game definitely being Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, one of the greatest 2D platformers ever made. Donkey Kong and his family must work together to save his island from Arctic invaders, but along the way, you'll play through some of the most genius levels ever conceived. Each level is unique in its own way, introducing all sorts of new mechanics and ways to spice up the game. All of the Kongs are a blast to control, including Funky Kong in the Switch version, and I haven't even brought up how gorgeous the game looks, as well as how freaking amazing the soundtrack is. You truly cannot overstate the epicness of Tropical Freeze. It's that spectacular. Recently on my channel, I've been trying to expand the reach of my YouTube content beyond just the borders of Nintendo. To be more specific, I've been trying my hand at PlayStation content. One of my favorite PlayStation franchises is Uncharted. These games are what really got me into my PS4, and they're still fun to replay every once in a while. And my favorite game in the series has to be Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. Out of all the Uncharted games, this one gave me the most memorable experience. The characters, while interesting and fun to watch, the gameplay was improved in every way from the first game, and the different locations you get to traverse are still some of the coolest in the entire franchise, such as the city torn apart by war, this massive snowy mountain with a hidden temple inside, and the beautiful world of Shambhala. There's also a ton of treasures you can find during your adventure, and a handful of mods and skins to customize the game with. In reality, all of the Uncharted games are great, but Uncharted 2 still remains as the pinnacle of the franchise, in my opinion. When I first got my Nintendo Switch back in 2017, I had a few games to start my collection: Splatoon 2, Sonic Forces, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. However, none of these games left the same impact on me as Super Mario Odyssey. Words cannot describe the pure magic I felt playing this game for the first time. Being able to possess my enemies with a flip of a hat is such a creative idea that still has lots of potential. This game also had a thing for taking familiar level themes, grass, desert, forest, and lava, and applying its own twist to keep things interesting. And these levels are filled to the brim with creativity, as there's hundreds of ways to interact with the world and collect power moons. On top of that, the boss fights are all really fun. There's a bunch of costumes you can equip where the fan service truly shines, and there's also Luigi's Balloon World, a simple but neat way to add competition. It's hard to relive that same magic I felt when I first played this game, but that does not change that this game is still magnificent and the best Super Mario game of all time. Even though I just said that Super Mario Odyssey was the best Super Mario game of all time, it's actually not my favorite. Oh, what? This game lets you go to space? Well, this game lets you go to more space. Super Mario Galaxy. This is the game that truly got me into video games. I was already a big Mario fan when I first played this, but Galaxy made me fall in love with the character. Bowser has upped his game and is not only kidnapping Peach, but planning on taking over the entire universe. So Mario must team up with Rosalina and travel from galaxy to galaxy to collect power stars and save the world. And these galaxies, man, many of them have gone down as some of the greatest levels in any Mario game. Honey Hive, Battle Rock, Ghostly, Gusty Garden, and Toy Time Galaxy are just some of the many galaxies that make this game as fantastic as it is. Plus, some of the unique mechanics seen throughout the whole game, from the spinning to the pointer controls to the motion controls, are implemented in some really creative ways. Yes, I think the drama regarding the motion controls is over-exaggerated. It's really not that bad. The thing is, though, this game was only half the story, because 3 years later, we got Super Mario Galaxy 2. It's the same idea as Galaxy 1, but with new galaxies and a few new gameplay ideas. I love both of these games so much that I'm going to put them both on this list as my favorite Mario games of all time. Alright guys, I'm going to tell you something a little crazy. What if I said my favorite video game of all time isn't a Mario game, or even a Nintendo game for that matter? That's right, my favorite game of all time is actually Marvel's Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. What a godsend of a video game. Marvel Spider-Man is an absolute masterpiece, and everything I could want out of a game. The story is the best out of any Spider-Man game. The characters are extremely well written and all charming in their own way, and that gameplay is, in a word, phenomenal. From the insanely deep combat system to just simply swinging around is endless fun. There's also a bunch of collectibles that tell you about Peter's past or give you an extra challenge. There's a huge selection of suits to equip, and I haven't even brought up the DLC, which expands the story even further. I should also mention Spider-Man Miles Morales. While I still prefer the original, this is still an amazing game as well. And now, I can't wait for Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. Will it be better than the first game? Well, I sure hope so, but for now, Marvel Spider-Man is as close to perfection as games get, and is my favorite video game of all time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then make sure to give it a like, and let me know down in the comments what your favorite video game is. Also, subscribe to my channel with notifications on so you'll know when I post more videos like this. Have a great day, stay safe out there, and happy 1,000 subscribers!